You can see how that color is bleeding into that. That's actually the first black in it, but they're still pretty light. Now I just started soaking them.
So come away.
Okay, so as you can see, this is our red piece, and this is the third multiple hour soak. Now it's getting clear. You can tell. See that water?
I was
It's getting
just
translucent.
calling
So it's doing
to
pretty
see if you're free to run
good.
away.
So I'd say one
with
more,
me,
and then all of them will be run through
to run away
for
with
washing.
me.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Flosstube number 6. And for this one, we are actually doing a hand-dyed canvas. There is some linen in here, but mostly it's the Aida. I do, again, dye everything, but I think mostly right now what I have is Aida in the tube for myself to use. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through while I'm doing my what do I have in stock, what patterns am I going to want to start over the next 6 months, to know, of course, do I need to dye some more fabric for some upcoming projects. That being said, welcome to those that have been watching for the first few episodes, and then of course welcome to any new folks that are following now. This usually was a quilting channel, but of course now we've changed it to all the different art forms I like to do, and of course if it's labeled Flosstube, it's for cross stitch. So there you have it. There's kind of the explanation if you are new to my channel. And no, everybody is welcome. That's how we roll here. So that being said, let's get started with the fabric parade. As I show some of these, you're going to see that not all of them are pressed perfect. So there might be a few wrinkles, but again, you still get the effect. I always press them before I use them. I pressed it when I did it, and this is probably done about a year ago. I hand dye a lot of quilting fabric because I'm a professional quilter and pattern designer and kit builder, and so I tend to do a lot of my cross stitch fabric with my dyes that I'm doing that with. I do use professional dyes. I use the Procyon MX dyes. I prefer those. I prefer the richness that I get with those. And again, if you're interested in that, go and check out, I believe it was video 3 and 4, where we actually hand dyed a bunch of the cross stitch canvas. So let's start with this. This is amazing. I want more of this. I know that. I believe it's a combination of hot chocolate and butterscotch. And I'm looking at the screen. It looks really brown. Maybe if I zoom in, you'll see a little bit more of that. You can kind of see a little bit more of that butterscotch feel. It does have a little bit more of a butterscotch than what's showing up on the camera right now. But I also love that texture. It looks like parchment, antique parchment, and I love the look of it. So there is that one. So this one, woo, that it's looking blue, blue, and it is not that rich blue, even though I'd love a piece like that. It is, let me go down a little closer with that camera. Let's see if we can. It's a little more, no, it's a little more muted, almost like a cross between this and a lighter navy. That being said, I do love, of course, this modeling that goes around it. I can't wait to figure out something to put here in this section, because that's where I would put something. I think that this would be a wonderful frame for something, and I don't know whether it would be something like a long dog where it would be monotone or not. I know that some of these I have planned to do some long dogs, but I want to do some hand-dyed floss as well. So now this one, that looks pretty darn true. I like that. That is a linen, and it looks to be about between a 32 and a 36 count, and it is that wonderful, it's kind of a mulberry purple, almost like with a little bit of black cherry thrown in. I just think that's nice and rich, and I really like that one. Again, I love collecting, and when I see the right pattern, I know it'll work for it. So this one, that is not bad. The color is a little more gray on the screen. It's actually got a little bit more of a blue, a sky blue, with a little bit of the purple throughout where you see the dark spots, but not a deep purple. It's more like a lilac or a lavender. So it's a very cool, I think, a sky look. Probably one of my little fun characters, or maybe a soda. I think it's called Soda Stitch, one of those patterns, or one of my other ones I think would go well on here. So that's probably what I will end up doing with that particular piece. And then this one is true as well. It's more of a black cherry. Go in, squeeze in on that. Next, again, sorry about the wrinkles. They need to be pressed, but I don't want to take the time to do that right now with all of them. But that's pretty true to what it is, and I love the way a little bit of that blue plays in with that black cherry. All right. Oh yeah. So this one, so on camera, these splotches are pretty intense, but actually they're not as intense in person. They blend a little bit better in. Now this is an odd piece of fabric that I stumbled on, and I believe, let me see, that's a 16 count. And the fabric is very meaty. And by meaty, what I mean is it's got some body to it. It's got a little bit of thickness to it, almost like a really high quality, high count, even though it's 16 count, texture of a monk's cloth. And it's really lovely. Now this one, definitely, I think what I have in store for this is some sort of a long dog sampler type of design, possibly. Although this might be something that I might do. Oh, what's that one? It's the I should never say stuff like that because I know I won't remember it. It's the Halloween one. The witch is in the middle, and then there's the medallions around that. And you all know, most of you know which one I mean. It's a Quaker, Halloween Quaker, something like that. I think that would look amazing on this. Let me zoom out. It's a nice sized piece, and I think that this would be well suited to something like that, or a long dog. Now, this piece I love. This is definitely slated for a long dog. And it is true to color, and this is only half of it, so it literally is folded in half. It's giant, and I believe this one is about 16 or 17 after the dyeing count. And with this one, I would definitely use a hand-dyed floss. I want to do a little bit of exploring with hand-dyeing some of the floss to go on here for a long dog type sampler. And then this one, I don't know yet. I love it. I love the butterscotch. Now that one you can really see the butterscotch that I was talking about for the earlier one, the first one, the chocolate one. I've thought about over dyeing it. This was disappointing. Right here, I accidentally touched it, I think, with gloves when it was on the drying section. But then again, I figured maybe I would just use this section, or I would use this, and I might happen upon the perfect piece for this one. But I do love this. It's got that wonderful, rich butterscotch tangerine kind of a feel to it. So that is what I have so far. Let me grab some of the other ones, and the other ones are some of the specialty ones that I think you'll really like. Okay, so I have pulled over the next batch and looked at the 3 bins. Boy, there's a ton. What I'll probably do is I'll show you the stack that I have here, and that will be the end for this part. And then few episodes down the road in winter, when I do a little bit more dyeing, then we'll do a little bit more of a combo show and tell with some of the other ones that I have left. I have some really great linens and even weaves to do some dyeing with, and then also maybe I can offer some of those and put those up on my page for sale. That way, if you want any of them, you can. But right now, let me show you this next batch, which is kind of my crazy stuff that I like to do. Now this top one is not so much. Let's see this. So that's a close-up. That looks kind of gray. It's actually a bit more sky blue. Let me bring you back. It's a giant piece. It's 18 count, and it's a wonderful sky. Now again, that's showing up pretty gray, and it's not gray at all. It's actually like a clear sky. Now, actually, you can get the sense of the blue if you face on me. Face on. Do you see that blue? So you can see that's actually right there. That's the blue. It's got that beautiful blue to it rather than the gray that we see when we go down on the table. So let's take that down to the table now. Okay, so then now we're going to go into some of the crazy collection that I have. This one, I love this. I love doing sunsets and sunrises, and I typically like to work on the diagonal where I do a yellow sun at the top and then down to the color at the bottom. Now this one I'm thinking of doing this particular Hade. Of course, that's Heaven and Earth Designs for those that are on my channel typically for other things. Heaven and Earth Designs does wonderful full coverage. That means there's no background of the fabric showing through. That being said, the one that I'm showing here on the screen, and I will do a runner of who the artist is. I can't remember right at the moment. I think would look really cool, and on this particular one, it's the I think it's an angel gets her wings, and I think on this one that would be a really great fabric to use it on. Okay, so then I'm going to kind of go through these, and they're similar to those, and they will get more intense as we go through. This one has a little bit more color. Again, yellow into some of the different colors. Still, as intense as it looks, it's still nice and mellow based on how I normally do these type of pieces when I'm doing my backgrounds for quilted thread paintings or any of those type of things that I do in the quilt world. Now we're going to get into some more intense pieces here. Now I have a few dragons that I'd like to use on some of these types of fabric. Again, this is that beautiful intense. And again, I don't have to have the sun over here. I can have the sun. I can flip this either way because the color intensity is the same on both sides. That's how I typically dye. And this one is a 20 count. So that's pretty awesome. And then again, these are just some variations. I love this green down below. I have a few, when I say a few, I mean I probably have about 100, 150 different birds flying patterns. And I think those would look really cool on this type of canvas, these colors. Again, little bit of variations. Keep going. It's that same series. I love the modeling here. And then of course it goes down into that wonderful purple. And you can't see it, but there's some green shot through here that looks really incredible. Again, another one in that series. This one's a little more mellow, and it looks like it's about an 18 to 20 count as far as the thread count. And like I had said, most of this is Aida, maybe some even weave on a few of them. And I'm pretty fortunate. I have some friends kind of all over the world, and they will tend to send me different types of the canvas and even weaves and linens that they find to work on. So it's a nice stash collection. And then this one, which I like, it's a little more basic: yellow, blue, purple, reds, and it just kind of fades in, looks great. I like the look of it. And then this little guy I really like, and I can't wait to find a pattern to put on this. It's just, I love it. It's small. I love the background color. I want to do something fun. Now this might be something nice for a single soda stitch character. And what count is it? It's 18 count, so I like that. And then this one, isn't that cool? So it's got those wonderful rust and a little bit of the orange. It's got some of the red. It's got a little bit of the purples and the greens. Tangerine, and in real life you see some more of the yellows is a little bit more rich than that. And then this one, I actually did originally for myself for, if you remember, I believe it's Lavender and Lace Firefly Fairies. That one in that pattern picture is right here. Now, I don't know that I'm using this for that. I might save this for something else. Because I also just bleached a black piece, 18 count, and then over dyed it, and it is processing right now, so I might use that for my fireflies, the Firefly Fairies from Lavender and Lace, rather than this one. Although I think this one would work. I would probably have them looking up or going up into that section there rather than dead center in the middle. I always want to kind of offset things so that they're not there. And then I like to use my scraps and do little bookmarks and little fun things like that. So those are kind of some of the wild and crazy ones at the end there that I've done. If we want to face on. And then of course down the road, what I'll do is I will show some of the new dyes that I have uh, been exploring with down the road, um, and go with that, and then I'll grab some more out of the other bins. Again, I have a pretty large collection of the fabrics. So there we have it. I don't want to make this too long for everybody. I know that my tea is running out, my cinnamon tea. We are supposed to be under a weather advisory, but we haven't seen any snow yet. But when I looked outside a little while ago, it was starting to get pretty cloudy and moody out there. So we'll see if we get any snow tonight. So I hope you've enjoyed that again. I know that there are other places you can spend time while you're doing your stitching or whatever it is you're doing while you're watching the videos. I always want to say I appreciate spending time with you. Because once you spend your time, you can't get it back. And I also want to say the same thing that I always want to say to everybody at the end of our interaction. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And we will see you down the road. Goodbye, everybody.
I know a place